When it comes to Drake and Kendrick Lamar, the contrast couldn't be clearer. Drake, after all the drama surrounding leaks and countless other losses, is showing signs of exhaustion. He's practically begging to get off his tour, exposing just how rough things have become for him. Before we get into it, make sure to like and subscribe. Every like brings us one step closer to dismantling the latest piece of propaganda the Iceman has put out there. Honestly, I wasn't even planning to make a video today. But when I heard an owl outside my window keeping me awake, it felt like a sign. So here we are, Drake. Once again, you're getting the work. The theme of this video is duality, truth versus lies, winning versus losing, and, of course, Drake versus Kendrick. Speaking of losing, let's start with Drake. After the fiasco of the leaks and everything surrounding them, he's clearly unraveling. Not in the way you might expect, but because he's exhausted from performing the same lifeless karaoke show, tour, or whatever it's even called. Drake recently posted about the tour, and while the photos he shared were awkward at best, they revealed something important. He hates touring. And honestly, given the way his shows have gone, forgetting lyrics, sloppy performances, constant mishaps, it's not surprising. Beyond his bizarre Iceman antics, the only consistent thing Drake has said publicly is how much he's counting down the days until it's over. Compare that to Kendrick Lamar, who's booking more venues, elevating his performances, and expanding his artistic reach. Meanwhile, Drake is signaling how badly he wants out. And here's the truth. Drake isn't on tour to connect with fans or reach new audiences. He's contractually obligated to be there. In a leaked message, he even admitted as much while trying and failing to impress a girl. Drake locked himself into deals with Live Nation and other partners, and now he's forced to perform whenever they demand it, just so he can brag in his songs about having a great deal. In reality, he's trapped. This makes his accusations about Kendrick being some kind of industry puppet laughable. If Drake actually looked in the mirror, he'd see that he's the one being controlled. From UMG reportedly owning most of his masters, to the touring contracts that dictate his every move, he's literally the definition of what he tries to criticize. What's worse is the lack of passion. Artists like Tyler, the creator, has spoken about how exhausting tours can be, yet you still feel their love for the craft. Drake, on the other hand, is just going through the motions. There's no joy, no artistry, only obligation. Compare that with Kendrick, who's on an artistic mission to accomplish something unprecedented in hip-hop. Meanwhile, Drake is dragging himself on stage, more lifeless each night than the last. Drake has turned his career into one long grift. And while he may genuinely want out, the reality is this. He chose these contracts, and now he has to live with the consequences. Unlike Kendrick or J. Cole, who made favorable deals later in their careers, Drake signed away control, and now he's stuck. And while Drake is spiraling, look at the contrast. Kendrick is preparing to return stronger than ever. Clipse just made history, taking rap to the Vatican, a moment that's as legendary as anything we've seen in years. The Kings are solidifying their legacies while Drake and OVO cling to delusion, desperate to keep their fans distracted from the mounting losses. They're worried, and now they're scrambling to twist the narrative, trying to make these moments look like nothing. Their newest angle comes from this graphic showing that there are currently only 4 rap songs on the global Spotify 200 compared to 5-6 just a few years ago. That's an all-time low. And of course, the calculator-loving music listeners have pulled out their scantrons and decided to blame Kendrick Lamar and the era for all of it. Meanwhile, the Iceman and his supporters are pushing the idea that Kendrick is a net negative for hip-hop and that we somehow need Drake back. This is where things get absurd. Suddenly, a group of grown men calling themselves Icemen are loudly insisting that Kendrick did nothing but harm hip-hop and that his beefs only cause division. You know who you are, and I'm calling it what it is. Whining and crying. Frankly, it's embarrassing to see Drake's fanbase in 2025 resort to this. I'm not going to indulge in this delusion any longer. Let's break down the lies. Even Drake himself has been trying to frame this narrative, posting strange messages and subliminal likes that paint Kendrick in a negative light. He's part of the same push. And now, while OVO loyalists try to send out a bat signal claiming rap needs Drake, let's not forget, This man has dropped nearly 100 songs since the beef. If he were truly relevant, his music could easily be on these charts. The reality is, the songs just aren't good. For the sake of clarity, let's take a step back. The decline in hip-hop sales and chart presence didn't start in the Kendrick era. It began in 2023. That was after years of non-stop Drake projects, Dark Lane demo tapes, Certified Lover Boy, Honestly Nevermind, Her Loss, and For All the Dogs. Those years marked a steady decline in hip-hop's cultural impact. Album sales dropped, hits became rare, and interest hit rock bottom. Drake was at the center of it all, unchecked. Without Kendrick actively countering him like he had in the 2010s, rap lost its core values. People grew tired of Drake's recycled formulas, his sample bait tactics, and his gimmicky attempts to force viral moments. The numbers speak for themselves. 2023 was arguably hip-hop's worst year by every measurable standard, and Drake was leading the charge. His shallow approach dragged the genre down, and audiences tuned out. Now look at this current stat being used against Kendrick. It's based only on songs, not albums. That's key. Drake has always been a moment guy, built on singles and quick trends, while artists like Kendrick, Clipse, or Tyler, the creator, are album artists. So if the metric is only songs, of course it highlights the gimmicks like Toozy Slide or Way Too Sexy that helped ruin rap's credibility in the first place. These forced trends killed casual listeners' goodwill toward the genre. And then, with Drake co-signing artists like Yeat and Ice Spice, trying to prop them up as the future of rap, the damage only spread further. That's what poisoned the genre, not Kendrick. Blaming Kendrick for this is like blaming LeBron James for other basketball players being trash. Kendrick currently has the biggest selling album of 2025, plus the year's longest-running #1 hit with Luther. His collaboration with Clipse even pushed a hardcore rap track into the Billboard Hot 100's top 40. He's leading in every statistical category: sales, hits, influence, and artistry. So, if you're really going to blame Kendrick for rap's decline, you're being delusional. The truth is simple. Kendrick has been the one consistently delivering hits and elevating the genre, while Drake has been dragging it down. At this point, there are only a handful of rappers delivering real, lasting chart success. Aside from Kendrick Lamar, the list basically includes Tyler, the Creator, Glorilla, Big X the Plug, and Cardi B. That's it. And the reason Kendrick, and these few others, are still charting while Drake and the rest of his era have lost momentum is simple: they evolved. Meanwhile, Drake and his peers stayed locked into the same played-out styles and trends they convinced themselves were working back in 2023. The truth is, 2023 was arguably the worst year in hip-hop history, and the genre nearly collapsed because of it. Look at Drake's output since then. Despite releasing non-stop music, he's only managed 1.5 songs with any staying power. Nokia and Somebody Loves Me barely held up, while everything else flopped. Other superstars from his era have fared no better. Travis Scott dropped, and it came and went. Lil Baby dropped, and it came and went. Jack Harlow, Yeat, Ice Spice. All the acts Drake tried to prop up as the next big names haven't delivered either. The irony here is wild. The same people blaming Kendrick for rap's supposed decline are ignoring that Drake himself is the reason audiences turned away. He degraded the genre into short-lived, copy-and-paste tracks built for 7-second attention spans instead of full 3-minute songs. From Toozy Slide onward, he normalized disposable music, and now he wants to pass the blame onto Kendrick, the only artist consistently delivering real hits over the past year. If we're being honest, though, there is a single-making problem in hip-hop right now. Outside of Kendrick, most rappers entered the game chasing clout, copying Drake's formula, and leaving the genre weaker than they found it. They're stuck recycling the same old sounds, hoping something sticks. Drake himself is still convinced that the 2023 era was a good thing, when in reality, it nearly killed rap's mainstream momentum. The statistics everyone's pointing at are just proof of the damage he did. Meanwhile, Kendrick continues to thrive, staying true to his artistry. And then there's Clipse, who just took rap to the Vatican, sharing the same stage as Andrea Bocelli and global leaders. To put it in perspective, Pusha T and Malice performed at a concert broadcast worldwide, delivering a show as groundbreaking as anything hip-hop has ever seen. If you haven't watched it, I can't recommend it enough. It was one of the greatest performances I've ever witnessed. This is why Drake and his supporters are pushing so hard against the current state of rap. They see hip-hop evolving into its truest form, a universal language with the power to unify, inspire, and carry messages that no other genre can deliver at this scale. Kendrick, Pusha, and Malice are proving that rap belongs on the world's biggest stages, while Drake is still stuck in the era of Tuesday Slide. So, if this decline in shallow, clout-chasing music is what it takes to clear out the imitators and finally end Drake's run, then let it happen. Over and over again. Because the truth is, rap's future isn't about gimmicks. It's about authenticity, artistry, and global connection. And that's exactly what Kendrick and others are proving right now. If we're still in a genre that celebrates Drake making Tuesday Slide and a million other rappers copying it just to get a quick moment of fame on the charts, then we have a real problem. Drake and his peers know this, and they want rap to stay ignorant and watered down because they're selfish. They want the art form to remain worse than when they found it. But right now, we're in a different era. Album artists are running the game. And while that may feel like a shift for some people, the truth is undeniable. Just look at Clipse, the position of their record on the charts, the total impact it's had, the staying power. Or Chance the Rapper's Starlene album, which I personally love. Or Earl's Sweatshirt's latest project, powerful, experimental, fun. Or JID's album, which set an entirely new tone. The artists shaping rap today aren't chasing cheap viral moments. They're painting full pictures. And while some people try to act like that's a bad thing or that it's bringing the genre down, the truth is the opposite. Rap is in a healthier place because of it. Yes, you can still make a hit song, but now it can actually mean something. It can last longer than numbers on a chart. Meanwhile, Drake and his team are stuck in the same old cycle. They fumble, they get exposed, and instead of taking accountability, they fall back on their go-to excuse. Blame Kendrick Lamar. Every time. Whether it's the Iceman album mess, the leak drama, or the whole Pinocchio thing, it all comes back to the same strategy. Smear Kendrick's name, drag down the people pushing the culture forward, and distract from their own failures. But here's the truth. This playbook won't work anymore. Drake might think he has a little win with these cheap shots, but only the most impressionable people are buying it. Everyone else can see what's really happening. And with all the momentum building, more people talking about the Vatican show, more people celebrating Clipse, more people embracing the artistry that actually moves hip-hop, this little narrative Drake is pushing won't last. Because hip-hop right now is evolving into something bigger than Drake's era ever was. It's becoming a beautiful, universal language. And no matter what he says, we are never going back to that era of rap again. So now I want to hear from you. What do you think about Drake trying to smear Kendrick Lamar, Clipse, and the other rappers changing the game? Where do you see the struggle between the two sides of hip-hop going from here? And what do you think the charts really mean in 2025? If you made it this far, you already know. Channel memberships are live, so if you want to support, it means the world. And if you want to see exactly how Drake got himself into this situation in the first place, because trust me, he's the only one to blame, check out the suggested video.